What can I say about this? It's a great
Yeah.
book to give people a sense of, well, you go out in the dating world, you have your own desires and you'll meet X number of people. And if only you were armed with a horoscope, you might know where to put your efforts and where not to worry about, putting your efforts into it. Because there are some planets, Moon and Venus, for instance, are your notoriously romantic planets. Moon is by nature nurturing, sympathetic, intuitive, domestic. Venus is amorous, aesthetic, loving, sensual. Those two planets, if they influence your ascendant, so if you have Taurus rising, Cancer rising, or Libra rising, one of those two planets rule your ascendant. And then if one of those two planets is rising or setting in the horoscope and therefore influencing yourself in a, astrologically significant way, these can be sort of tags that say you're a romantic, you're a sympathetic, sensual person. And these people are the ones that sort of naturally gravitate towards relationships. They're already positive about the prospect for a relationship. Conversely, there are another two planets, Mercury and Saturn, which are quite, let's say, cynical, ambivalent, judgmental about the whole prospect of relationships. Mercury, for instance, is always regarded in the pantheon of planets as being adolescent, kind of youngish, immature. And so an adolescent or an immature person is not ready for adult relationships. Okay, and then on the other hand, Saturn, the most distant planet in our solar system, is regarded as literally cold, literally distant, and figuratively cold. A person who is, Saturn also rules old people too. So you've got Mercury who's too young, Saturn who's too old, Mercury who's too fickle, Saturn who's too serious. Those two planets are anathema to the idea of romance. So if you have Gemini or Virgo rising, or if you have Capricorn or Aquarius rising, there's a bit of a hard-nosed sort of attitude towards relationships. Well, I don't know if this is good for me. I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather play games. I'd rather watch hockey than be involved in a relationship, all this sort of thing. So if you've got that kind of person with those ascendants rising, or if Mercury or Saturn plays a dominant influence upon the horoscope, these people are less inclined, in fact, even ambivalent, maybe even totally reluctant to engage in relationships. Now, if you were to know that beforehand, you would not waste your dating dollars dining and wining somebody who is of a mercurial Saturnian disposition, because at the end, they're just not going to put out because they're not inclined. Okay, I'm being crude for illustrative purposes.
That's the way it is.
Whereas the lunar and Venusian types are already inclined, they're halfway there already. As long as you treat them decently, they're ready to engage because they are romantics. They're hopeful, optimistic. Mercury and Saturn are kind of like pessimistic, judgmental, going to analyze the situation too much. Okay, well, I'll go out with you, but what kind of job you got? What's your degree? Where do you live? All these sort of, ifs, ands, and buts, the caveats. Yeah, Moon and Venus are not like that. So this is a helpful thing for anybody.